Hello, my name is Denise Yezbak Moore, and today I am creating with John Bead. John Bead is a Preciosa crystal platinum distributor and a well-known wholesale company turning 70 this year. Today's DIY jewelry making project features my shadow blush earrings. The tools and supplies you will need to create these earrings are round nose pliers, wire cutters, chain nose pliers. The beads I am using today are Preciosa Czech glass crystals and Preciosa pearls. The crystals include 4mm light rose, 6mm light rose, 4mm crystal velvet, 6mm crystal velvet. We have 4mm light gray pearls, and 4mm rosaline pearls. We will also be using eye pins, an 8mm jump ring, an ear wire, and 20 gauge wire. A complete list of the jewelry making supplies and beads along with printable PDF instructions can be found on blog.johnbead.com. Starting with connector 1, we are going to string onto an eye pin a 4mm light rose crystal, 6mm light rose, 4mm rosaline pearl, 4mm crystal velvet, 6mm crystal velvet, and a light gray pearl. We are now going to form a simple loop. We're going to bend that wire down, grabbing our wire cutters. We are going to trim off that little end. Using our round nose pliers, we are just going to roll the wire towards us to form a simple loop. You are going to repeat this process 2 times for a total of 3 connectors. Using an eye pin, we are going to string a light gray 4mm pearl, a 4mm crystal velvet, a 6mm crystal velvet, a 6mm light rose, a 4mm light rose, and a 4mm rosaline pearl. Once again, we are going to form a simple loop. Bend your wire to the side using your wire cutters. Trim off that little end. We are now going to form a simple loop by rolling the wire towards us. You are going to repeat this process 1 time for a total of 2 connectors. An 8mm jump ring. This is how you open and close a jump ring. You're going to open your jump ring. You are going to attach number 1 connector, crystal side up, number 2, gray pearl, number 1, crystal side up, number 2, gray pearl, and number 1, crystal side up. Now we are just going to close our jump ring. Cut a 4-inch length of 20 gauge wire, and using the very tip of our chain nose pliers, we are going to squish the end of the wire down to flatten it out. Now we're going to make a tiny little bend in the wire. String a 4mm rosaline pearl onto the wire, and we are just squishing that wire down flat with the pearl. String our first connector, add 3 4mm rosaline pearls, and string our second connector, 3 pearls, connector number 1, 3 pearls, connector number 2, 3 pearls, connector number 1. String 1 more pearl, making sure those beads are nice and tight. We're going to come back in with our chain nose pliers and we are just flattening the end of that wire. Using our wire cutters, we're going to trim off that end. Using our chain nose pliers, we're going to make a bend, and you can use your fingernail or you can use your pliers to push the end of the wire down flat. And you can now see that the wires on the end are hidden. Grabbing an ear wire, this is how you open and close an ear wire. Open it, attach, and close the ear wire. And there you have it, how to create my shadow blush earrings. Also featured this week on blog.johnbead.com are my shadow blush bracelets. PDF instructions can be found on the blog for these bracelets. I hope you enjoyed this jewelry making tutorial, and I will see you next time.